All right, let's take a look at part 5, and this is where we're when we're creating and adjusting and configuring the Squid program. Squid is a web proxy. It acts as almost like a digitized middleman because between the incoming requests and yourself. So it's a mini firewall in of itself. And let me get back to our Kali right here. Let me type in clear, so we can clear the work area, if you will. So this command, it copies it. What it does, this is the CP is the copy command, but it's a bit misleading. What it is doing is creating a backup for this. So it's copying the configuration file for Squid, but at the same time, it's renaming it as squid.conf.bak. So we could substitute the CP command with the MV or move command, but this copies it and makes a safe copy while making another copy with the .back extension. So essentially, it's making a backup of squid.conf. And I apologize, I could have just said it that way, but instead I had to, give you a long running explanation. My apologies. I probably created more confusion than anything. So let me just say, all this does is it creates a backup copy of this Squid configuration file. That's it. Now, sed is a streaming, but at the same time, it allows you to edit. Hence, streaming editor or sed. And the interesting thing is that the dash I flag allows us to insert this information into the configuration file, and it's making sure that every time we see HTTP port, it's HTTP port 3128. That is the substitute expression. That's what we want to match in the Squid configuration port. So the HTTP port 3128 is what the matched line gets replaced with. And then, of course, what file are we working on? That's the squid dot configuration file in the etc directory. That is the same directory where all the other configuration files are in. Now, this is interesting right here. We want to make sure that you want to append these ACLs, but you want to make sure you're using your own IP address. So if we do ifconfig, we can see that mine is 1.99. Okay, so you want to make sure that you would put in 192.168.1.0/24, or else your lab is not going to work. Chances are your IP address, your subnet, your localized subnet will be 192.168.1.0. Chances are it will be that. Now let's take a look at mine just to verify. We're going to do cat. Now let's do cat etsy squid.conf, and we can see that I put in my sources 192.168.1.0/24 because of the output of ifconfig, which is 192.168.1.99. Okay, then you're going to reload Squid, restart it, and then we're going to match every port that is 3128. Let me do that now. Okay, and you can see that it is in fact listening to port 3128. And as it says, we're going to look at the access log right here. Okay, as it says, leave the command running and open a second terminal and run 6.2. So we're going to do that. We're going to go to, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to a session and add a new tab. And as it says, add your own IP address. So we're going to do 192.168.1.199, I believe. Okay. And then we're going to go back to this, and we can see that this is it actually added this to the log. So, and it says TCP denied. Okay. So we were successful. Now on to part 6.